of Gaza, not against Hamas, not against Hezbollah, against Gazans. That. You know, I mean, I wasn't gonna vote for a Democrat anyway. But I would rather a Democrat be in office than a racist. At least people who they're allowing black people to be at the table. When I look at all the signing the pictures of presidential signings under Trump, when Trump was signing bills, rarely did I see a black person around. Now, just because black people are at the table don't mean that they get to eat. I do understand that. But Barbara, if I got to choose to tell my friends, my family in Maryland, because Democrats haven't given us statehood either when they've had control of both houses of Congress. Okay, and I mentioned earlier in the show that I've been disenfranchised constitutionally. So, Barbara, what's the best alternative? What is the decision to make on November 5th?
You know, I understand that people are, you know, in this quandary of voting for, or in this, I guess, dilemma, faced with this dilemma of voting for the lesser of two evils. I get it, and because voting like prayer is a private, and your religion is a private matter, vote for whomever you want. I'm not voting for either one. Typically, if you say that you're not voting for the Biden-Harris ticket, then you're automatically branded a Trump supporter. Oh, well, you must be voting for Trump. Oh, if you vote for anyone other than Biden-Harris, that's a vote for Trump. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I advocate for independent, and I support third parties or parties outside of the duopoly, so outside of the Democratic Republican parties. So any vote for someone other than those two, I can get behind. And what it does, people don't realize, but it does strengthen that other party. If that other party meets a threshold of, I believe it's 5%, then they're eligible for federal funds, and they can begin to, you know, that can be the momentum for them to build their party. Because most people don't recognize or even realize that they have choices. They don't have to vote Democrat or Republican, but those two have created a cabal to ice out and to block out not dissenting, but alternative voices. So that's why the majority of Americans don't realize that they have a choice other than Democratic and Republican.
Well said. Well, there are and there will be election irregularities. I know it, and I'm telling our social speaking audience Tuesday, watch what I tell you. Pennsylvania, Texas, Georgia, there will be election irregularities. All right, especially in Georgia, where they have this election commission, and they're in Virginia, they're scrubbing the voter rolls 11 days before the election. So look for that. The hype polling that's been disseminated by the mainstream media, Barbara, says that black men are trending toward Trump. Barbara, I say that's an insanity.
That's not true. It's just not true. It is what's the word I'm looking for, Perry? Not exaggeration. It's
it's inflammatory. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I go for that. A lie is good. A lie is good, and it's simply Trumpian rhetoric, as far as I feel.
Rhetoric and propaganda.
I believe, and they talk about the economic, or what attracts black men. Trump's economic prowess, his sternness, his oh gosh, he says what's on his mind. First of all, I'll say antisocial behavior is nothing to model yourself after. Business failure is nothing to model yourself after. So, exactly. Black men, I'll say to you, if you are one of them, your ass is crazy. That's the bottom line there.
And I don't believe, first of all, black men are going to vote pretty much in lockstep with black women. They're not going to vote for Trump. The same support that Trump had 4 years ago well, okay, it might increase slightly
Mhm.
this go round, but not significantly. Not for us to panic and believe that many of our brothers and uncles and friends are moving into the Trump camp. It's not happening.
Well, I tell you what, they're trying. The Harris campaign is trying to paint itself as a campaign of joy. That just sounds so just illegitimate to me. But Barbara,
Exactly.
I will say this: the most important constitutional right, and I'm talking to you, our socially speaking audience. I'm talking to every American, and especially to my young black people. The most important constitutional right you have is your right to vote. That comes from Perry Red. So, election day is Tuesday, November 5th. Barbara, what should people be doing on November 5th?
Chilling like me because I vote by mail.
All right. Some of us already voted. And what's sad is that some Latinos already voted. See, I'm not a big proponent of that. I want people to go and stand in line if they have to. I know at my polling place, I've never had to stand in line. But I go down there and vote. And the fact is, some of those Latinos, especially Puerto Ricans, had already voted for Trump. And of course, when Trump endorsed that surrogate, that comedian who made the comment that basically Puerto Ricans and Puerto Rico is an island of garbage, that was indicative of the way Trump asserts himself upon people of color. You might remember when he called African countries shithole countries. You see, this is a pattern with him, and it is accepted by mainstream Republicans and especially the majority of conservatives. Black men, that's why you don't vote for Trump, because they hate you. So on November 4th, November 5th, Barbara will be chilling. Perry Red will be going down to vote, and I'll post it on our Facebook page. And on top of that, I am voting for Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate.
I like the sound of that. And just two quick things.
Mm-hmm.
Many don't know that Kamala called Gen Zers stupid. Outright, she said Gen Zs are stupid. I don't think we should be calling any constituents stupid. And even if they're not your constituents, you just do not do that. That is not cool. And I can't remember the other point I was going to make about Trump. But,
yeah. Well, are you?
Oh, I know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's regarding November 5th and voting. Because of the capitalist and exploitative nature of this country, many people, many hundreds of thousands of people can't get off to be able to stand in line. So it's either indicative of our broken election system when national election day, that first Tuesday, what did you tell me?
Yes.
After the first
Monday,
Tuesday
after the first Monday in November. That's right.
Yeah, should be a national holiday. And people should be able to take off to vote. Maybe given 6 hours on a rotating basis to keep the businesses open, but also to relieve the pressure of workers having to stand in line. Oh, and it's also indicative of this capitalist nation that well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with capitalism. It's just the exploitative nature of this free trade capitalism under which we live. But workers should be all businesses should be mandated to give their workers time off to exercise their right to vote, their privilege to vote.
Barbara, you said something huge there. So and lastly, I'll say this, that control of the House, control of the Senate will be in Democrat hands, and control of the presidency. So will the Democrats do that? Will they change so that elections, as important as they are protected? And that's a way to do it. So lastly, I will say, socially speaking, Kamala Harris will be the next president of the United States. Barbara, your take.
I don't know. I really don't No. There will be irregularities, as you mentioned, and there'll be irregularities on both sides. The Republicans are just more vicious and more overt about it. So I don't know, and it's shameful, Perry, that the horse race is even this close.
Yeah.
Again, that tells you something about the candidate and the system.
And the country as a whole.
And the country, that's right.
Well, Barbara, thank you for joining us on Socially
Thank you for
Speaking.
having me.
It's great to hear your voice whenever I do.
Likewise.
Folks, Socially Speaking, Kamala Harris will be the next president of the United States. Go vote on November 5th. It's your most precious American right. I'm Perry Red. This is Socially Speaking.
Red Media.